Hello everybody and welcome to my next achievement run for European Universalis. This time we will be playing Persia and the all-new Common Sense DLC update that has just came out. I am returning, or I should say I have returned back home from my vacation in Europe, and I'm ready to start playing and seeing what the Common Sense update is all about. I'm sure, as you guys have probably known, I have been doing a Incan Sun God Challenge achievement run. However, this has been corrupted with the most recent update that has hit Steam, and my Iron Man run of the Incan Sun God Challenge is no longer available because of its corrupted save state. So, this being said, I can continue the run if I downgrade my European Universalis, but right now I want to play with Common Sense, as you guys can see is enabled over here, and I've heard from quite a bit of you that you guys would like me to play some Common Sense, so here we go. The basic gist of this challenge, as we are about to play, is to form Persia and control all of Egypt, seen here, all of Anatolia over here, controlled by the Ottomans, and all of Greece. So this will be a bit interesting. We will be recreating the ancient Persian Empire. So let's go ahead and begin. I will be choosing the Timurids for a few reasons. I will show you why exactly when we start. The reason is that to form Persia as the Timurids, it is relatively easy. It does take a little while. I would say it takes about 80 years, 80 in-game years. You should be able to form Persia by about 1515 or 1520. What I'm going to do in part 1 right now is show you guys exactly how to reform the government. I've already actually formed Persia for part 2, so this part's kind of, I guess, an opening / tutorial on how to do this yourself if you're interested, considering this is one of European Universalis' very hard achievements according to Paradox Interactive. So let's begin. So at the very start of the game, we are going to go into our ledger. So go to the culture ledger, which is right here. So basically what we want to do is we want to culture shift to Persian, and the only way to do this is actually to have Persian the only way that this is possible is if Persian is 50% or more of the total culture of your empire. So without further ado, on day 1, watch what I'm doing. You're going to your create subject screen right here, and we're going to release 2 countries. We're going to release Khiva, and we are going to release Afghanistan. Now, with the new feature of subject interactions, I think this is like patch 1.11, give or take. Basically, the larger your vassals are, the more likely they are to want to rebel with their liberty desire mechanic, so keep that in mind. Basically, what we're going to be doing is we are going to be selling them some provinces, you know, to increase the amount of Persian in our empire. Of course, you will want to check to ensure that the provinces you sell are not containing any Persian provinces. As it so stands, this province is Turkmeny, so we are going to sell it to Khiva for some ducats, as you guys can see right here. And we are also going to sell Afghanistan, one of our provinces over here, Karshi. Again, I apologize if I am not pronouncing these words 100% correct. It happens. So, if it all works, this happens just like that. We've sold our provinces. Let's go ahead and check back to our culture screen. We are at 44.5% Persian. Not too shabby. Keep in mind that you will want to move your capital to a Persian territory in this case. As to culture shift, not only do you need to have a majority of the culture you wish to shift to, but also a capital in said location. So now we need to wait till we get 200 administrative power. That way we can shift our capital. So what we're going to do in the meantime is we're going to make some alliances. Of course, Karakanalu hates us. That's not really a surprise. Ottomans also rival us, as with the Mamluks. This is a normal start for the Timurids. fairly normal anyways. You could go in several different directions here. What I usually do is these provinces over here, as you guys can see, they don't contain Persian culture, so we're not going to take them yet. Don't worry, we will of course take them. I usually go for a Nogai alliance. You don't really have to do this. It just makes it a little bit less likely for people to attack you. When we culture shift, we will also be shifting religions, as I will show you guys here in a few moments. Also, we have way too many military units at the moment. When we sell some provinces, we won't be able to support them. I'll show you what that's all about here in a second. And there will be a bit of a cooldown before we can sell more provinces. We have to wait till December. That's fine. Blah, blah, blah. We don't really care. Basically, what I normally do is I increase my relationship with Afghanistan because they will be the bigger of the two released vassal states, and as a result they will want to declare independence at some time. We can't allow that, obviously. So to form Persia as the Timurids, it might not be as easy as you would expect. We have to juggle around independence desire with a few other mechanics, as you guys will see. As soon as I sell this province of Kulab to Afghanistan, I believe we will have a 50% Persian majority in our country. Let's go ahead and check the ledger. Almost. So we're not quite there. What I'll do is I'll sell Herat next time to Khiva, which will be good. And in the meantime, let's see if there are any missions we can take to kind of boost our admin. No. Okay, also, I forgot to say, but you have an absolutely terrible king with an absolutely terrible heir as the Timurids. So as a result, if you have Res Publica or Common Sense, make sure to set your national focus to admin. You need as much admin mana as possible. So, in the interim, let's go ahead and see if we can sell you more provinces. We can. We will sell you a Rot. Try to get some money if you can. It doesn't seem like the AI is very willing to give you money after you sell them a few provinces. We now have a Persian majority, so this is the very boring part where we have to wait for mana. What we could do is hire a advisor to kind of speed up our mana collection here, and we're going to kind of mothball our military a little bit as well. Right, so now this is kind of boring. We're going to increase our relationship with both of our subject states. This way, like I said earlier, they will be less likely to declare independence and more likely to help us out in wars, which we will definitely need their help in. So right now, as you guys can see, the Timurids start with a shitload of provincial unrest. Very, very unfortunate, but it's a necessary evil to forming Persia as the Timurids, who themselves control quite a bit of territory. As you guys can see, it's not a very modest amount of land. So, that being said, in the future, let's talk about what you need to form Persia while we wait for this mana. What you need is, not Baluchistan, obviously, Tabaristan over here in the north. You're going to need them, and you're also going to need to take the province of Tabriz, which is the capital of Karakanlu. Don't worry, they look to be pretty scary. They're not. Generally, you can get them in a conflict when they are at war with the Ottomans and the Mamluks. If you're like me, you'll be lucky and able to declare war on them when they're at war with both of them at the same time. They'll be very busy in the western part of their country, and you'll use that opportunity to of course, you're going to lay a claim or fabricate a claim on Tabriz before you get started. That way, you can take it in a conquest. But be aware that your admin power will be severely limited in the early to mid game if you start as the Timurids, which I am doing. So now is the time to set your capital. I have set my capital to Tehran. It's up to you. Of course, the historical capital would be Isfahan, but there are decisions later to change your capital to Isfahan once you form Persia, which give you pretty nice benefits. So for the time being, we will set our capital to Tehran. Now, as you guys can see, there is an option to change the religion, And where is the culture shift? Right there. We would lose 5 stability, and we need 1 stability to start with. So what I recommend, guys, is to save up some admin, really save up some admin quite a bit before you do all of this. And you could then change your culture and religion in one go, which is what I'd recommend. So let's go ahead and fast forward to the culture shift and religion shifts, so I can show you guys exactly what I did. Okay, now that we've fast forwarded a little bit, once you get to around 400 to 500 administrative mana, it is time for you to culture shift, and in order to do this, you must first get 1 stability, so we're going to go and do that. And as you guys notice, stability is pretty expensive considering our religious unity is absolute crap. So what we're going to do is we're going to accept the cultural shift. Persian becomes the majority culture in our empire, and at the same time we are going to change our religion to Shiite. So because we're already at -3, that's fine. Doesn't really impact our stability anymore, and now we can boost our stability for quite a bit less considering our religious unity is much higher. You guys might want to wait until you're at 500 mana, administrative mana that is, before you actually do this, considering I'm stuck at -2 now, so that's not good. I am in the negative for administration power. And I did this for one reason. It's actually because we're about to have a Persian revolution, and I don't want to spend my manpower on that. So instead, I can send my men over to the Khorasani provinces that are about to rebel. Normally, you can increase autonomy. I'm not sure if you guys like to do that. I sometimes do. Sometimes I don't. It really depends on how I'm feeling. If you're lazy, of course, you can do that. It's not a problem. Where are the other Khorasani realms? There's one right there. So we just shifted over to Persian culture, which means that we are about to get some separatists from Khorasani. That is fine. Khorasani, sorry. Let's go ahead and send these men over here. It's good. Try to reduce our attrition rates. As you guys have noticed, now that we have culture shifted, it is a good time to integrate the vassals that we have established. I'm working on increasing our relations with Ardalan so that we can take them as an annexed vassal in 1454. Of course, to form Persia, you're going to want to take Tabaristan, which we will. No worries there. We don't really have the ducats for that, unfortunately. I really wish we did. Let's see. We can do some magic here and see if we can't afford that next turn. Oof. We're getting destroyed by something. It's probably our advisor. Let's see. Oh, it's a lot cheaper now. Cool. So we're going to go ahead and take that. That gives us more admin, which is good, which in turn allows us to boost our stability. So right now I'm going to talk about something relatively interesting. So you guys saw how I shifted our religion to Shia, which is good. This gives us an interesting alternative. Now, we are recreating the ancient Persian Empire, but if you're like me, you're going to choose Shia. One reason, it gives you, I believe, a 10% morale bonus, which is really good. And with Piety, it'll give you another 10% morale with fort, defense bonuses, and missionary strength. And of course, Piety also allows you to get tax, manpower, and technology bonuses. But if you want to play a more historical Persia, you can actually make all of Persia Zoroastrian, and I'm going to talk about this for just a second. I don't exactly suggest this for a few reasons. Zoroastrian is not a too powerful religion. I believe it gives you 10% trade steering with +1 to true faith. Of course, nobody in the world is going to follow Zoroastrian. It is literally just this one province right here. So, that being said, if you guys really do want to recreate the historical ancient Persian kingdom, by all means go for it. I'm not going to in this run, but to show you guys how to do it, you would send a missionary over to here after you culture shifts. You hit OK, and what's going to happen is, check this out. We're going to piss off the people in Yazd, however I pronounce this anyways. Earlier, you guys didn't see it, I actually increased the autonomy back in 1478, or sorry, I guess in 1448. So you're not going to get any rebels here, considering I just increased the autonomy. But as you guys can see, there are Zoroastrian zealots, which would form after you culture shift to Persian. And what they will do is, if you piss them off enough by sending a missionary in here, they will they'll form the rebel zealots, and they'll go from province to province, forcibly converting your empire to Zoroastrian. And I think after 50% of your provinces have been sieged, you can switch to Zoroastrian. Like I said, I'm not going to, but if you'd like to, it is a pretty interesting thing to choose. I was kind of tempted to do it, but I decided against it. So that being said, we have just culture shifted and changed our religion to Shiite. Now, what I did earlier is I went to my government tab, and normally you can get an advisor for religion until you increase your piety to 100%. You won't be able to convert provinces, but it's kind of nice to convert provinces before you form Persia. That way you, you increase your religious unity. Let's go over to Loristan, which is over here, and send some units to crush the rebellion. As you guys can see, I'm using my shitty leader and heir in an attempt to get both of them killed. Of course, whether or not that happens remains to be seen. Because as you said, when you start as I said, when you start as the Timurids, you start with a pitiful 111 leader and 111 heir. And not only that, but because you are a steppe nomad government, you get really terrible succession crises that can sometimes be actually pretty useful, considering you get nicer leaders sometimes. As you guys can see, my morale is really low, considering I mothballed my army, but it's not a big deal. We took care of that army with no problem. So, basically, the rest of this run, you're going to want to conserve your admin power, as I said before, with the exception of taking Tabriz in a conquest war. All of the other ones, like Tabaristan, you can basically diplomatically annex after you declare war on them, and then either vassal feed them and integrate, or really just integrate them. That's what I usually do. Just save your admin. You're really going to need it, trust me when I say that. Of course, we're going to choose the gain PD whenever we can, and boost our stability whenever we can to get that 0 stab back in action. And one final thing, to reform into Persia, it is necessary. Well, first let's take care of these rebels, and you will have rebel problems playing as the Timurids. That is not too much of a surprise, I hope, for you guys. I mean, you do start with quite a bit of land, but it is not religiously united. And once again, we have more rebels popping up in Shiraz this time, so we're going to go ahead and put a stop to that. And we will get ready to siege. Now, with the update to Common Sense, it's a bit harder to take out rebels, considering if they are not within your fort of control, they can take a province in a few days. As you guys can see, that just happened right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to wait for our men to heal up from their mothballed state, and we will then go over there. What are you doing? Which way are you going? We have pretender rebels that are doing nothing. Okay, well, whatever. Anyways, right, so we've won that war. We will assign, I believe it is Shah over here. Like I said, we want to kill both of them if we can. Maybe we can't, that's fine. So, now let's go ahead and heal up our men as we're about to go ahead and attack into mountains. I don't really recommend attacking into mountains, but we don't really have much of an alternative. We will go ahead and take out the desert province first. So, at a risk of this Let's Play being incredibly boring, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you guys exactly how I did it and kind of skip ahead to part 2 pretty soon to show you guys when I formed Persia, kind of give you guys an idea of what to expect when 1520 comes around and you've reformed your government. Before we get into that, I will take out these rebels and show you exactly how to reform your government before you form Persia itself. And kind of give you guys a brief overview of which countries are nations to take over and diplomatically vassalize. Of course, you're going to want to avoid taking provinces, as admin power is going to be very, very low in your early to mid game. As it's all about 1550, you'll have better chances with your admin. So until then, you're going to be using your diplomatic mana, or your diplomatic power, to diplomatically vassalize your vassals. That's a bit redundant, I suppose. So, in the order of most importance, let's go over that really fast. Tabaristan will be the most important for you to diplomatically vassalize. They're really pitiful. They have 12 men over here. Even if you mothball your army like I did, you'll probably have 3 times the amount of men that they take. It's very easy. War took me about maybe 2 months to complete, maybe 3 months. They only have 1 fort. Of course, you're going to want to annex Ardalan first. They're very tiny and they take up a very precious diplomatic power source slot. So they'll be your first. But again, guys, I cannot stress this enough. Do not diplomatically vassalize or annex anybody or take any more vassals until you culture shift. This is very, 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 very important, and I cannot overstate this enough. You really, really need to culture shift first. And the reason for this being is, of course, if you take land that belongs to anything besides Persian, you're going to be shooting yourself in the foot, as to culture shift you will need a 50% majority. That is why I have not taken Tabaristan yet. It is, of course, going to be the next war target that I will be taking. With the common sense update, you can also mothball forts, which is pretty useful. I don't, but you certainly can. I'd probably recommend it, honestly. We are getting tremendously negative from our army maintenance and missionary. Why are we even having a missionary? I told you guys you could do that. I completely forgot to cancel it. Don't forget to cancel it. So let's go ahead and get in the positives again. That's nice. I need to repay back my loan. Loans are bad. Always. So right. Okay, let's go ahead and pay back that loan. 174. So in the meantime, I'm going to give you guys a quick overview of what to do in this situation once you've gotten to this point. So basically, to reform your government as a steppe nomad tribe, if you've never played one before, you need to get either economic ideas, innovative ideas, or administrative ideas fully completed. And to do this, of course, you must get to National Ideas 5, which takes a long time. I mean, you're a steppe nomad. As you guys can see, it takes 1033 power in 1454 at 0% malice penalty, whatever it is, to get temples, which is rank 4. So realistically speaking, it'll take about 2200 admin to get to rank 5. That is without actually having to increase your stability over time. You will have to, of course. The higher your stability is, the better, considering these rebel factions seem to die down the more you do it. And also, to reform the government, you need a stability of 3 and an administrative power of 200. So I cannot, once again, understate this enough, or overstate this enough, as it will be. You need admin. It is incredibly important. Don't go wasting it on coring provinces. Unless you are talking about Tabriz, you will want to core Tabriz. So, that being said, I'm not going to continue this Let's Play because it's incredibly boring. You'll just be watching me literally passing by the time, watching my administrative power go up, increasing my stability, increasing my ideas, blah 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 blah, integrating my vassals, which are super, super big now. And like I said before, make sure you keep a tab on their liberty desire. Afghanistan is a pain in the ass, and they will want to declare independence, so keep your eye on them. In order of annexing, choose Ardalan first, after you culture shift, of course. Next up, I always go with Tabaristan. They're important. You need them to form Persia, so you'll declare war on them. I fabricated a claim on them. That's all you need to declare war on them. Diplomatically vassalize them, and you'll be done. Afterwards, declare war on Karakanalu when they are weak, probably when they are in war with either the Ottomans or the Mamluks. Just watch their manpower in the manpower ledger Not too hard to get to. You just go over here, check out their manpower. They are Karakanalu, so we will go down to the queues. You see it right there. They can have a force of 51, but right now they have 30,000 men. I'm talking like a machine gun right now. So yeah, first priority is annexing Ardalan. The next is Tubaristan. Priority 3 is declaring war, taking Tabriz. You could take Armadil too. I did. I also took, I think, one of these other guys. And if you're feeling frisky, you can also take one of their cores with Iraq. Keep in mind though, with the newest, or with the more recent updates with Liberty Desire with your vassal states, the more vassals you make, the more your other vassals also want to declare independence. So try not to make your vassals too big, try not to feed them too much, really focus on one at a time. So yeah, annex them, take this. After that, you can annex Khiva. That's what I did. And after I annexed Khiva, I declared war on Baluchistan, diplomatically vassalized them, and then I annexed them later on. And then, next but not least, I was working on annexing Afghanistan when Persia was formed. So, thank you for watching part 1. Part 2 will be a hell of a lot more interesting, I promise you. And stay tuned. I mean, the Common Sense update so far seems really interesting. Really getting ready and getting excited to playing this Let's Play, as we must take over all of this area over here to the west. It's going to be a very, very fun achievement run, so stay tuned. Part 2 will be out very, very soon. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.